Welcome into the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Hope everybody out there is having a great week as we get closer and closer to the weekend. Coming up on today's show, we're going to take an in-depth look at the Niners roster, looking ahead to training camp. I like what ESPN did in ranking all 32 rosters in the National Football League, and ESPN ranked the 49ers as the best projected roster in the National Football League. So we're going to take a look at the strengths, weaknesses, X factors, and then some surprise changes to the starting lineup. First, you look at what we've been able to do this week, a huge week on the Niners Report, and I want to focus on likes for today's show. So be sure to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video right now. Monday's Brandon Aiyuk update, 838 likes on that show. On Tuesday with the Aiyuk news, 608 likes. Yesterday's Aiyuk report, nearly 400 likes. On today's show, can we beat those digits? Help us out. Let's have some fun. We're pitting ourselves against one another because competition brings the best out of us. And I'm never content with being good. I always want to be great. So hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. As for ESPN's roster outlook, this is the overall roster outlook for San Francisco. They took a look first at the biggest strength of this Niners team. It's the offensive skill players. Easy to see why, because this front office, this scouting department, and this team, this coaching staff, they've done a great job of compiling talent. Here's what ESPN had to say about the Niners skill players on the offensive side of the pill. Christian McCaffrey led the NFL with 2,023 total yards last year. Brandon Aiyuk, more than 1,300 receiving yards. He ranked 7th among wideouts last year. Deebo Samuel was 8th among wide receivers with 3,751 total yards over the past 3 seasons. And George Kittle, a tight end high, 1,020 yards last year receiving. The only tight end in the NFL, by the way, with more than 1,000. They're all back for 2024. As if that weren't enough firepower, the 49ers also spent a first-round pick on wide receiver Ricky Pearsall, who serves as a short-term competition for underrated wide receiver Jauan Jennings and as a long-term replacement for Samuel or Aiyuk. Quarterback Brock Purdy is sitting pretty. There is no reason why the San Francisco 49ers shouldn't be one of the best offenses in the National Football League once again. With more experience, I expect Brock Purdy to get better. If Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, he takes great care of his body. I don't think he's going to have a season like last year, but he should still be highly productive as a runner and pass catcher. Hopefully, Brandon Aiyuk is motivated, whether he doesn't get the contract or he does. And I think that you look at his career trajectory, he's gotten better every single year that he's been in the NFL, and I'm hoping that maybe the Niners target him more and throw the rock more frequently because Brandon Aiyuk is a special weapon. Deebo Samuel is still one of the most special playmakers in the NFL. And George Kittle, after some people thought that maybe he was slowing down a couple of years ago, he's come alive. His career has been revived with Brock Purdy as the quarterback. He's been a touchdown machine, and last year, he was a first-team All-Pro. Of course, the Niners' success offensively, a year after averaging nearly 30 points per game, hinges on the offensive line. The left side is fine. Trent Williams and Aaron Banks. But center, right guard, right tackle, somewhat of a question mark going into training camp. But with Kyle Shanahan calling the offense, designing these plays, the maturity of Brock Purdy, with all of these weapons, the Niners, who were terrific last year offensively, very explosive, averaging nearly 30 points per outing, should once again be able to duplicate that success in 2024. The biggest weakness for this Niners team, what do you know? It is the offensive line. And it continues to be a problem for this football team. Here's what ESPN had to say about the trenches on the offensive side of the football. The 49ers are loaded, so we need to get picky by looking at the line situation next to superstar left tackle Trent Williams. The good news is there's a ton of continuity. Matt Pryor, 42 snaps, was the only lineman who played a snap for the Niners last year and is no longer on the roster. However, of the returning starters, left guard Aaron Banks, center Jake Brendel, right guards Jon Feliciano and Spencer Burford, and right tackle Colton McKivitz, only Feliciano showed well in Pro Football Focus's grade and pass block win rate in 2023, Coach Kyle Shanahan will need to continue to scheme around this group. And that's what really frustrates me. It's another year, more offensive line problems causing me to lose my cool. I get that when you have a scheme master in Kyle Shanahan, that's a great luxury to have. But he shouldn't have to scheme around a bad offensive line. Imagine if the offensive line was an elite unit and what this team would be able to do after being the number one overall offense last year. They could be even better. And rant. Until next time. X factor for this Niners team. It's the defensive line. And some people might be surprised that ESPN is listing the defensive line as the X factor for this team. But here's their explanation. For as star-studded as it was last year, the 49ers pass rush seems to be less than the sum of its parts. San Francisco has done some shuffling. Out are Chase Young, Eric Armstead, and Cleveland Ferrell, and in are Leonard Floyd, Malik Collins, and Yetur Gross-Matos. But the elite upside remains. Nick Bosa is a superstar. 2 years ago, both Javon Hargrave and Collins were top 3 in pass rush win rate among defensive tackles. And Malik Collins has been the better, more available, and more productive player than Eric Armstead the last couple of years. There is no doubt that San Francisco underwent a pretty big makeover along the defensive line. It's a new group with new players, and they're going to bring different talent levels and skill sets to this Niners team. And it's a Niners defense that could alter its scheme a little bit with Nick Sorensen calling the defense. The non-starter to know for San Francisco. It's Jauan Jennings. Here's what ESPN had to say about JJ. Receiver Jauan Jennings, yes. The 49ers have added Ricky Pearsall. He'll probably take Jennings' position in the starting lineup, but Jennings will still be important to what San Francisco does on offense. He was a surprising 15th last year in the ESPN receiver tracking metrics and is well known as one of the top run-blocking wide receivers in the NFL. For that latter point, Jauan Jennings is a joy to watch play football. When you need a big play, he's always there. When you need a clutch play in the run game as a blocker, as a pass catcher, he always seems to come through. He plays with swagger. He plays with confidence. He is a dog. He'll go up and get it, take a hit. Good team leader. I'm not sure immediately if he's going to replace or if Ricky Pearsall is going to replace him in the starting lineup. I might disagree with ESPN there, but I have to see what Ricky Pearsall does once the pads get popping. A lot more to get to here on this show, but I want to thank everybody for your support of the San Francisco 49ers report. I showed you this graphic last week of how many subscribers all NFL channels, or at least 10 NFL channels, the top 10, have picked up since June 1. The Niners report last week was, I think, 7th or 8th on the list. We have skyrocketed up the leaderboard, and now we can overtake Eagles now for the most subscribers picked up since June 1. I happen to be the host of both programs. Maybe I'm just killing the game. I'll pat myself on the back. I'm joking. I'm kidding. I'm messing around. Either way, continue to hit that sub button. Let's continue to remain high in these rankings with only a few days left in the month of June. The more subscribers that we pick up, obviously, the more that it helps out the channel. Coming up next, a look at ESPN's projected starters. There are some surprises there that we're about to unveil. But today's show is sponsored by Chubby's. Skies out, thighs out. Go to chubbyshorts.com/chat. Whether you're getting dressed for your workday, a workout, or a weekend getaway, Chubby's has you covered. And for a limited time, Chubby's is giving our viewers, our listeners, 20% off your order when you use the code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. That's code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. Support our show and tell them that the 49ers report sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubby's. You can experience unmatched comfort and style with Chubby's iconic original stretch shorts. They also have some great bathing suits, as you can see, with my beautiful form dive into my swimming pool right there. These swimsuits also feature a lightweight anti-chafe liner to protect those boys downstairs all beach season. I also really like their shirts, a couple of different styles available. A couple of the Chat Sports homies, Mitchell Renz, Marshall Green, Trace Gerard, rocking some chubby shirts right there. You also see a couple of different options on your screen too. I have a light pink shirt that I think is really great if you're going to the beach, if you're hanging out by the pool, or trying to look fresh. I pair that with one of my Chubby's blue shorts, navy, and I look good, feel good. So get 20% off your purchase at chubbyshorts.com/chat. Use the code chat. I'll put that link down below in the comment section and in the description of this video. Chubby's, today's sponsor of the San Francisco 49ers Report. Shirts, shorts, bathing suits. They have everything that you need now that the summertime is officially here. ESPN's projected starters on the offense. Ricky Pearsall as a starter ahead of Jauan Jennings as wide receiver 3. Of course, whatever the future is of Aiyuk or Deebo, that could change things a little bit. You know that Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey are going to be the two starters at quarterback and running back, but ESPN projecting that Ricky Pearsall is going to start ahead of Jauan Jennings. And I am wondering here, I've said that I think Pearsall can contribute right from the jump, and he could put together a year in which he has 5 to 8 touchdowns, 500-plus receiving yards. I wonder who gets more targets. We know that Kyle Shanahan is historically tough on rookie wide receivers. Will it be Pearsall? Will it be Jauan Jennings? Feel free to let me know what you're thinking about that subject down in the comment section right now. Next up, George Kittle at tight end, Trent Williams at left tackle, Aaron Banks at left guard. And it's the same offensive line from ESPN that ended the year last year, going into the Super Bowl, of Jake Brendel at center, Jon Feliciano at right guard, and then Colton McKivitz at right tackle. 3/5 of the offensive line, to me, they're cloudy because I don't think Jake Brendel is elite by any means. I do think Jon Feliciano played very well last year. Do you start him at center? Do you start Dominic Pooney or Spencer Burford or Jarrett Kingston at right guard? And unfortunately, Colton McKivitz doesn't have any real competition at that right tackle spot. Also, as part of this, tight end 2 is a question. Niners signed Logan Thomas. He's been injured a lot. Really good athlete. He's a freak at his size. Is he going to claim tight end 2? Will it be Braden Willis? Will it be Kamla 2? Eric Saubert? We will certainly see. To the defensive side of the rock, Javon Hargrave, Malik Collins starting at defensive tackle, Eric Armstead, longtime Niner. He was tenured with this team. Now in Jacksonville. So that's a new look right there. And then Nick Bosa and Leonard Floyd as the 2 edge rushers. Nick Bosa, this is the best help that he's had at the other edge spot, probably going back to 2019. Really solid help with Floyd, who in 4 straight years has 9+ sacks. Linebacker position. Some question marks here because of the health of the enforcer, Dre Greenlaw, one of my favorite players on this Niners team. When healthy, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, your top 2 linebackers. ESPN putting in the free agent acquisition, Devondre Campbell, who was signed after Eric Kendricks spurned San Francisco and signed with the fraudulent Dallas Cowboys. The question with Greenlaw, when will he play? Will he play at all? Coming off the torn Achilles back in February in the Super Bowl, watch out for Jalen Graham and D. Winters to maybe be linebacker 3 and steal some snaps away from the veteran Devondre Campbell, who was an all-pro back a couple of years ago with Green Bay as a first-teamer. To the secondary, Charvarius Ward, Deommodore Lenoir, top 2 corners on this team. There is no way, I don't think, that Ambry Thomas is going to start on the outside for San Francisco. I just think that this coaching staff has lost trust in him, and that's why the Niners drafted Renardo Green and brought in Isaac Yiadom, as well as Rock Ya-Sin. The 2 safeties, Talanoa Hufanga, Jair Brown. I'm really excited about that young tandem. Hopefully we get to see it beyond this year with Hufanga entering the final year of his rookie contract, year 4. Ambry Thomas starting, though, that's a huge surprise for me. Just like Ricky Pearsall starting ahead of Jauan Jennings is a surprise. I don't see it because of the struggles that Ambry has had to endure. Do you agree with ESPN that the Niners have the best roster in the NFL? A for agree, D for disagree. If you disagree, explain why.